real, and Superman.
Yeah,
The
Superman. We got
Fleischer
Superman cartoons.
Fleischer Brothers Superman.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Back to some public domain stuff. Exactly. Oof. Mwah, mwah. We love the public domain.
Wait, how are these public domain? Because it's like,
It had
uh,
something to do with like
I mean,
how it was
how,
like how like what company owned it and like who renewed copyright when and all that kind of thing.
because it's like Superman, the character is not public domain, but I guess just these shorts are
Correct.
on their own. Yeah. Spoilers, they rule. They're super cool and fun.
Should have called it Super Cool and Fun, but they call it
Yeah.
Superman versus the Robot
Um,
Men
I
instead.
had the Mechanical Monsters, please. Let's get the name right. Yeah, the first two released were 1941, and one is just called Superman, and one is called the Mechanical Monsters. I definitely seen Mechanical Monsters before. I think I had seen just the, you know, self-titled Superman one also.
I'm pretty much in
Um,
exactly the same situation. Like I've definitely seen the second one. I probably have seen the
mhm.
first one. Yeah, this is the iconic rotoscoped Superman, which Fleischer brothers were all the pioneers of rotoscoping, but like this one feels very rotoscopy. But I think that here it's like such a thing. It feels I haven't really counted it or looked it up, but it's like it feels like it's animated on like twos or like very very fluid, very like a lot of frames in this animation, and so
Yeah,
there's like a smoothness to it that I think is good stylistically and not just like a kind of weird thing like you're looking at a high frame rate television, you know?
hmm yes. The animation is super gorgeous and like lavish. I feel like it's a lot of like painted backdrops and like they're super colorful and also just full of cool, wacky, like 1940s comic book shit too, like robots and death
Yeah.
rays.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, before the comic books got woke. Back when it was about death rays. No,
Yeah.
I'm joking. Honestly, I think that the painted backdrops are like the best thing about this. They all look
Mhm.
incredible. Like
Yeah.
the animation is cool and iconic, but like the world, the kind of extremely Art Deco world that Superman lives inside of in these like really painterly deco backdrops is incredible. It's so cool.
Mm. Yeah. You can really see, I think, like how influential these have been. I mean, probably the most obvious influence these have had is Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow. Is like has like frames taken directly from Mechanical Monsters in it.
Mechanical Monsters is the big one. Honestly, like I was looking at the Wikipedia page for that short, and it was talking about all of these things that referenced that the Mechanical Monsters short.
Mhm.
And
A lot of
uh,
Miyazaki stuff too.
yeah, well, speaking of anime, there was like uh there's a battle, a fight in the end of Evangelion movie that I was watching that short and I was like, oh, they're kind of like doing almost the same thing here. Like
Oh shit!
there's a point where someone's getting attacked by a whole bunch of like similar robots and like is doing a lot of the same moves to them.
Oh
Uh,
cool.
yeah, I don't know like how intentional it was, but like it felt like, oh, this is like the same fight.
Does End of Evangelion also have a scene where robots steal a bunch of jewels and also a lady?
It does.
I do love just the. It feels like such a kind of like old timey like childhood like vision of like what would a robot? What would you do with a robot? It's like I don't know, steal jewels and like put a lady in there.
I mean,
Like there's that bit where right Superman's chasing after the robots flying away and he uses his X-ray vision to look inside the robot.
mhm.
What's inside the robot? A pile of jewels and Lois Lane.
Well, she jumps
And
into the
it's
robot because she's like, if
yeah.
there's a scoop
So
anywhere,
it
it's
has a
inside
sort
of
of
this robot.
it's inside of this robot that has a scoop for a chest. This big dumpster robot.
Ah!
Yeah, she's there to get the woman's angle. Is I think what the I guess Perry White is tells her to do. Classic 1940s newspaper lingo.
Yeah, yeah. I think in the first episode, there's a part where like Clark Kent is saying like, "Isn't this job a little much for a woman or something like that?" And they in some versions, in most versions that have been released in the last 20 years of that, it kind of cuts it off, and he's like, "Don't you think that job's a little too difficult for it takes it out."
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Dang. I don't remember now which version of it that I watched.
If you had a moment where you said "Yikes, Superman," then probably it was not that the
I mean, I
change.
probably did it at some point in both of them. I also like how in both of these, I feel like Clark Kent is like they really lean into like him being a coward
Yeah, yeah.
in sort of contrast to his Superman persona.
I feel like also
Um,
there's so much more modern Superman stuff. There's like there are so many superhero things these days where it's like I see an opportunity to be a superhero. It's time, like I have no choice. It's time for me to be Spider-Man, you know? Where
hmm.
this, especially in the second one, he spends a lot of time just being like, this has nothing to do with me. Like I don't really care about these robots until they steal my girlfriend, you know?
It's like, oh, robot stealing jewels. Who cares? I got a job to do.
Yeah, yeah. Right now,
Yeah.
I'm in Clark Kent mode. Like, and it isn't a job that calls for Superman to stop jewel robots. And now I'm just imagining a vaping robot,
Ooh.
jewel
Mm.
robot. I guess one other thing that I want to shout out about these shorts is that they have an orchestral score that is like super timed to the action on screen.
Hmm.
Uh, a la a Looney Tunes cartoon. It almost makes it feel like
Hmm.
that's just like the way that cartoons are done, is that like the
Yeah.
score and the visuals are like deeply tied together.
It felt very
Almost,
kind of Fantasia-y at times. One, just because of how like
yeah,
nice the animation looks, but also I like specific like when Superman is like punching death ray beams,
yeah.
which I also just like that it's like you shoot him with a death ray. How does he fight the death ray? He punches the ray part, like the beam,
Yeah.
and he's
Well,
just like punch it back.
it almost seems like the death ray coalesces into chunks that like hit Superman periodically, and he kind of has
Mm.
to like like
Punchable chunks.
yeah. Like as if he's in some kind of like rhythm video game or something like that. He has to like he initially gets hit by the death ray chunks, and then he's like, "Aha! I know the rhythm," and then he boom, 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 and then the music kind of spikes with every punch that he does, which it
Mm.
works really well. I mean, I think there's a lot of scores these days that are not as deeply tied to the moment to moment action, and
Right.
I found it
Yeah.
rather pleasing.
Yeah. Rather pleasing. It's good. Good review. The first of these two shorts was Oscar nominated, which is pretty cool.
Hmm.
Well deserved, I think. And then the second one, Mechanical Monsters, is apparently the first instance of Superman changing into his costume in a phone booth, which like I think of as like that's like so such a big part of like Superman iconography, and so it's kind of cool that that started here,
Well, and
not
also
in the
the thing
comic.
that started here was that Superman flying, which there were like kind of sort
Right.
of other instances that were kind of mainly mistakes, where this one was like, okay, now that we're animating Superman, like this is like the first animated Superman. Now that we're animating Superman, him being a tall jumper looks kind of silly. So let can we just make him fly? Is what they asked. Was it DC at that time, or was it
Mm.
a different name of the?
Um, I don't think it was called BC at the time. No, but I'm not sure when that changed. I think it was in the 50s, but I could be wrong. I'm not
So
caught up in my DC Comics history.
flying Superman, and
Mm.
we have the first flying Superman. The first, what was the one you said? Uh,
The telephone booth's quick change.
the first telephone booth, and then the first punchable death ray.
Mhm. Wait, whether or not we watch more for the show, I want to watch more of these too because I think